Welcome to the meeting this evening for the Utilities Committee from the Troy City Council. Today is July 11th. The time is about 6:15. On my right is Mr. Lutz, and on my left is Mr. Twist, and my name is John Terwilliger. I am the chairman. Today we have one issue before us, and that being a recommendation to council to enter into an agreement with the Miami County Commissioners for a water line extension project from Experiment Farm Road to the Upper Valley Medical Center. Presentation from the engineering department will be given at this time. So, Chrissy, you're up.
So the county is interested in running this 12-inch water line up to Upper Valley Medical Center. Currently, they only have one feed. We serve them off of County Road 25A, and so they're looking for a backup feed, for emergency situations. So the plan would be to extend the existing 12-inch line that stops on Experiment Farm, right around our corp limit where it's at, and extend it up. Actually, the memo, I had told Patrick wrong. It said 1,000 feet, and when I was checking the maps today, it's actually closer to 3,000 feet. That gets us north up to DP&L's substation. And then from that location, the line heads east about another 4,000 feet to get us back over to loop into the Upper Valley property. So it would be the intent that the city would own the entire frontage on Experiment Farm Road, right? So as expansion occurs and annexation, that we would be able to pick up those customers there, and then that it would be the county's main as you kind of go cross-country over to Upper Valley Medical Center. We'd be adding a master meter essentially at that location as it heads over to the east. So they've applied for, or they're intending to apply for Ohio Public Works Commission funding to help pay for a portion of this water line.
Okay. Questions?
Is this an emergency due to funding?
The timing of the submittal of the grant application, yes.
Okay.
Which is a county submittal. We had the discussion the other night about the OPWC funding and the competition. This is not a competition, this is a collaboration. This would be the county grant application, the county's, I guess it's allocation. I say that loosely because it can go back and forth, but it's not a competition between us and them.
Okay.
The location, this is past Eldine, north of Eldine?
Correct. So I'm going to have it wrong. I printed. So the property owners along there, you continue up north past Neal's farm. The Dalton family owns the farm just south of the DP&L substation that we're tying into, where they'll be heading east. So yes, it's north of Eldine. Currently our main is just south of Eldine. There's a farmhouse there on an existing Neal farm where we kind of stop. Our water line terminates right there currently.
And that is at the current corp limits.
So, what portion of the grant will cover the county's costs?
So it's roughly $1 million project. They're asking for 30% funding from Ohio Public Works, asking the city to pay 30% of the project. Bruns is paying 10% of the project. The hospital's paying 10% of the project. And then the county's paying 20%, with the other 30% being their funding, their grant funding.
Is there any scenario where the city we get pledged but may become financially responsible for monies and the other groups don't?
In the proposed agreement that Law Director Kerber is still reviewing, there's a maximum threshold amount that they set our tolerance at. And so I believe in the memo I stated, the $336,000 is our maximum amount. I specifically posed the question, hey, what if, right, bid prices come in extremely high, there's no language in the document that says whoever's covering the balance, and at that point, we would be over an engineer's estimate, and we would all have to regroup and rebid. But we don't anticipate that at this moment. There's some contingency factor in there. They think we're going to come out at a good time bidding. But the city has capped at this maximum dollar amount regardless of what the bid results are.
And our 30% is really based on, we would own some of that, the city be responsible.
The bottom line is that we would own 3,000 feet
More,
of
right.
line for $336,000, and that's
Pretty good.
unheard of.
It's a deal.
Yep.
And one thing to add that I don't think Christie mentioned is that if you look at our comprehensive plan, which has been approved by the Planning Commission, this area is designated as our primary industrial growth area. And so that's why it's strategic for us to own this piece of pipe, if you will.
Bruns has interest as a public entity, no, private entity, because they have land.
They have several parcels or one large parcel, I think it's multiple, that are north of the hospital, near the interchange, the 75 interchange.
If the grant is not funded, does the project continue?
I don't know the need is there, and so we would have to regroup. It's pretty common for the county to get this amount of funding in Ohio Public Works, same as when we file our applications, right? It's not finalized till they approve it, but there's a threshold of a money amount that we pretty much feel that is a given, and so I think we're feeling very confident that this is a no-brainer as far as the funding opportunity. County engineer sits at a district level when they're reviewing these applications.
Just curiosity, engineering-wise, does the federal get in this when you have to go under an interstate?
The state will have to, ODOT will have to approve that bore, that crossing under the interstate. Not federal, but the state will.
Any other questions?
And there's nothing in the agreement that would preclude those property owners from annexing to the city
No.
once, not only on Experiment Farm, but possibly even Eldine looking
Correct.
towards the east? Okay.
Any comments or questions from persons in the audience? Mr. Titterington, any comment?
No, sir?
And this is emergency?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
I guess I did have one other question. I mean, it was alluded to that the $336,000 is a deal for 3,000 feet. If we didn't have this agreement, what would be a comparable rate for that type of extension?
Well, the bids will depend on what subsurface you're digging into.
Okay.
Certainly, if it's green space, it's much easier than the asphalt. But I'd say anywhere from a low of $75 a linear foot to anywhere to maybe $150.
I generally, easy math, I think about $100 a foot, like if somebody's just roughly at, because that's an easy math number. But yeah, 75 on the low end to about 150 is generally what we kind of target. But yeah, $100 a foot's an easy math.
Okay. So, and just help me think this through a little bit. If it's 3,000 feet, that comes up to $300,000. But we would still want to have that looped anyway?
No, that comes up.
I mean, am I missing my math a little different?
Correct, for straight water line material, I mean, you're not including in hydrants, it does depend on the difference. So like Patrick said, $75 a foot to $150. At the easy math, the $100, you're at about $300,000. At the $150, we're closer to $450,000. If I was putting an estimate together, I would be, Patrick smirks, I would be assuming the $150
Okay.
a foot.
So there is a bit of a cost savings, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was expecting that, we said it was a great deal. I mean, we're not talking a $600,000 or $700,000 project we're getting for $336,000 necessarily, but it's a
Well, but
$400,000
Okay.
project.
We didn't do any of the design. The
Yeah,
coun-
we have no design, no
Okay.
engineering, no administration, so we save all of those additionally, which could be
Okay.
10 to 20% depending
Okay.
on the complexity of the project.
Okay,
And the 336 is the max. It could come in lower than that.
That's correct.
okay.
Right. Yeah. And the project, if something would happen, the project gets renegotiated. So just because we're saying yes now, the grant didn't get approved or something happened, we would just go and renegotiate back with.
And we'd have to come back before committee and
Right,
council.
for-
and-
More
So-
council discussion, correct.
Okay.
This is just to be able to apply for the grant, and it happens, it's within our range that we feel comfortable with.
Correct.
Is there enough funding in the water fund to hold this expenditure?
There is.
There is. Our performa actually showed it at a higher value than that. When we show our 10-year plan, we factored this project in at,
Okay,
I don't know the number, I was thinking at least $500,000, or, I mean, 5, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You wish.
Move forward with emergency.
we can move forward.
And also move forward with emergency. So the recommendation is to bring it to council. Any other business?